Joining us now, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of the U.S. Army and Chairman of American Defense International, Van Hipp, along with retired U.S. Air Force Brigadier General and Newsmax contributor Blaine Holt. Welcome to both of you. General Holt, I'm going to start with you here. Let's first touch on what Carla Babb was talking about, this ship that was essentially not able to do anything at the beginning of the war. Is that a legitimate setback? Does that give Iran any sort of feeling that they have a leg up? Your reaction to what that could mean?
You know, it is concerning that our major vessels and all of our logistics, for that matter, come under great stress and strain when we think about the operations tempo that our forces have been under. At the same time, it doesn't in any way or shouldn't in any way provide comfort to the Iranian regime, because we have many, many options to work around things like the Boxer being sidelined from the fight for a little while. You know, no plan ever survives contact with the enemy, but another thing I can tell you is, being a chief of logistics in Europe, no plan ever survives contact with logistics either. And we do have several contingency options with multiple forces, different branches of the services, to get at the exact same missions. And so while the ideal path may not be available to us, it rarely is, and we're always doing contingencies like this.
Van, what stood out to me in some of that reporting is the fact that we were seeing potential strikes on Iranian infrastructure. And I know that that's a different line to cross here. When you're hitting 90 military targets, that's one thing, but when you're talking about hitting railways, bridges, whatever it might be, kind of sends a different message. Do you think that's where this is heading?
I think it is, but it's starting to escalate. Bob and Katrina, let's look at these strikes over the last two nights. Let's take Tuesday night, 85 strikes and 60 IRGC small boats were taken out. Last night, they upped it a little bit to 90 attacks. IRGC boats being taken out, runways being taken out, missile launchers being taken out, and they all have a common theme. Anything that impacts the freedom of navigation with regard to the Strait of Hormuz is what we are targeting right now with precision munitions. That's what it's about right now in this first phase, as we've resumed the attacks, is to ensure that the Strait of Hormuz remains open. And I think your reporting talked about it a little bit before, but I read today earlier that Lloyd's intelligence list did say that a number of ships were able to get through last night, not as many as last week, but they were able to get through. So I think the focus of these strikes right now is ensuring the freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz. But there's no question, I think this is going to escalate.
Speaking of escalation, excuse me, General Holt, how much do you think it will escalate, if you do, and how quickly?
It's going to ramp up rather fast, and we're into a full-up air campaign right now to, like the Secretary said, pulverize the coastline and open up those straits once and for all. But there's something else going on strategically. Every single thing that we hit that's the IRGCs or the besieged, the secret police, is getting us closer and closer to enabling a revolution to get underway and let the Iranian people close the deal on land by taking back their own country. And they'll be assisted by the Kurds, who are up on the northern border. They're already being assisted by the Iraqi government, which is flushing out spies, money laundering networks, and the like. So this is a phase that I would call the initial preparation of the battle space for the final act of this war, at least in terms of our role in it.
Also want to point this out, Van, during today's funeral processions for Iran's late supreme leader, multiple signs, banners, they were seen with threats to President Trump, including one saying, "Hey, Trump, we will kill you and kill Trump." Doesn't look very nice there. General Holt was just pointing out maybe revolution is on the way. Would you agree with him on that?
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly with what General Holt said. Two things that I've long advocated. I would do everything we can, whatever it takes, to get arms to the people of Iran right now. There's no question the vast majority of the people there have had it. And one thing that I have advocated, in fact, did a Newsmax op-ed just a couple weeks ago, I would step up psychological operations big time on this regime. I would let them, because right now there is a real rift, Bob, between the IRGC and the Iranian civilian leadership. We need to do everything we can to drive that wedge between the IRGC and the civilian leadership and engage in psychological operations. Let's get them turning on each other. And what I would say is let them know when this is over with, Nuremberg-style trials are coming. You will be held accountable for the atrocities you've committed on your own people, as well as the international terrorism you've inflicted on the world for 47 years.
Okay, got to leave it there. Van Hipp, General Holt, always a pleasure. Thank you both for coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks much.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.